Hello friends, and today we are going to talk about one of the most important part of our life, and that is how to remain healthy. To remain healthy is has been given utmost importance from all of the cultures around the world, be it Indian, African, Asian, Spanish, Arabic. Each culture has given some specific proverbs related to health, and the presence of proverbs shows that yes, health is one of the most important part of your life. For example, in Arabic, there is a proverb which is one of the most favorite of mine. It says, "He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything." Right? This is how important it is. So let's start. Uh, Today we will talk about what are the building blocks of a healthy food. Right? So let's start about different parts of our food. The first part and the most important part is protein, right? Protein is building block of your bones and muscles and skin and your blood, right? This is how important it is. So if you're feeling that you're fatigued all day, you're feeling of not doing any study, not going out to play, or you just don't want to do anything, you just want to stay at your bed or your sofa feeling lethargic, protein is the first thing you need to look out, right? So plus the vegetarians, they also need to watch out for the protein intake, because uh, the amount of protein which vegetarians get from the daily food which they take is very less in comparison to what non-vegetarian will be getting from their food. So if I talk about sources of protein, that would be nuts, cashews, almond, sweet corn, broccoli, eggs, banana. Plus, uh, there are a number of options available for non-vegetarians, including egg. So protein is the first thing which you need to look out if you're not feeling well, if you're feeling fatigued and lethargic. Right. The second building block would be carbs or carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, when they go inside your gut, so there are certain enzymes present in your gut. The carbohydrate will be converted to sugar, and sugar will act as energy source, your daily energy source. Right. Now there are two type of carbs. One is simple carbohydrate, second is complex carbohydrate. What is the difference between simple and complex carbohydrate? Simple carbohydrates will break down very easily, right? And because they break down very easily, they will give you sudden rise and fall in energy. Right? They will be having high glycemic index, and because they give you sudden rise and fall in energy, you need to avoid that. For example, uh, if you take a lot of sugar, if you take the carbonized drinks or coffee with a lot of sugar, you will feel a sudden rise in energy, but within a few minutes or within few hours, you will again be feeling very low, right? Now the second is complex carbohydrates, and they are the better one, right? They will be having low glycemic index, they will break down slowly, and this is what you need to prefer over the other one. The complex carbohydrates will be present in beans, whole grains, peas, brown rice, fruits, veggies. So, for students and college goers, it is very advisable that you keep fruit along with you, so that whenever you are feeling a little low, you can eat the fruit which is there, instead of eating it, instead of going out to the canteen and getting something junky, right? So carbohydrates was the second thing which you have talked about. Now let's moving to the third thing and another very important part of our diet, and that is fat. What is the difference between carbs and fats? You can make the difference in very simpler terms. Say carbs will be your daily energy source, right? And fats will be your uh, longer period of time. Fat will be giving you energy for a longer period of time, right? They will be acting as energy reserves. Okay, and plus the second important part of fat would be the insulation and the coating which they provide to the axons. So axons is the part of neurons which is sending out information. So what happens if, for example, if you're having a wire in your house, and if the wire comes in contact with another wire, And if there is no insulation present, right, what will happen? You will be having a short circuit. Something like that happens in our mind also. So axons will work out as the coating, and it helps us in falling out of information, right? You won't be losing an information, you won't be losing what you have learned so far. So fat is one of the most important part of your diet. Right, now again, fats are of two types: saturated fat and unsaturated fat. One is evil, another is good, so let's talk about them. So first talk about the saturated fats. They are the evil ones. They're bad for your health. They make your blood platelets, stick together, increase in your heart problem. So today we see around us a number of people who are uh, who are suffering from heart problems. Somebody will be having your thick blood or clots inside their artery. That comes from saturated fat. That comes from very long consumption of saturated fat. For example, if you're having earlier in India, there used to have a something called dalda ghee used to come. That was saturated fat, and if you consume saturated fat over a very long period of time, it will start giving you heart problem. The blood platelets will stick together, arteries will get blocked. So you need to avoid that. You need to avoid the saturated butter. The example is dalda ghee. Another is you need to avoid the egg yolk, the inside part of egg yolk. You need to avoid that. The better part of fat is unsaturated. Now again, unsaturated can be divided into monosaturated and polysaturated. So monosaturated, they're although good, but if they're heated upon a very high temperature, they results in trans fatty acids, right? And trans fatty acids, they result in increase in obesity and diabetics. One of the most popular example of monosaturated fat would be olive oil. And people who have read about olive oil, they know that they should avoid heating olive oil on a very high temperature in a very sudden manner, right? That they need to avoid that, because there is a saying that if you heat olive oil on a very high temperature, it will turn into poison, right? The second part is polysaturated, which is a little better one, right? And it is usually found in cold water fish, for example omega-3 fatty acids, right? One of the most important part of your diet, which should be included and must not be avoided. And then you can find them in certain seeds, for example flax seeds, right? Flax seeds are quite popular nowadays. And then there are nuts. The popular source of unsaturated fat would be broccoli, walnut oil, spinach, apart from flax seeds. The last part of our dietary healthy diet which we are going to talk today is vitamins or vitamins. So there are a number of vitamins. For example, there is vitamin B, which is found in whole grain, peanut, carrot, cheese, egg, yogurt, milk. Then there is vitamin C, which is usually found in broccoli, berries, or the fruits which are rich in citrus, or and the green pepper part is there, right? And there are other vitamin A and vitamin E is there, which you can certainly found in leafy veggies, the green leafy veggies, carrots, sweet potato, milk, and raw nuts, right? So these were the building blocks of a healthy dietary chart. Now we are going over certain do's and do nots which we need to remember if we want to stay healthy for a very longer period of time. uh, but before going over this list, I just want you people to think for a minute that when was there a time that you were healthy for just 1 week, that there was no ailment present, right? That there was no headache, no stomach ache, there was no head spinning, there was no mood swings. When was the time when you were healthy and you're feeling joyful for a whole 1 week in a contiguous day, straight contiguous days, right? Now, most of the people, if they would be remembering, this part would come from their childhood, right? Because in our childhood, our gut, our digestion system that used to be very good, but over the period of time when we started taking junk food and food with irregular habit, that broke down. And now because of that broken digestive system, we are having all these ailments and disease. So that is needed to be fixed. Right, now let's go over the list which we have made here. The first point is that we need to avoid taking coffee or caffeine empty stomach. Right, that will give you headache and certain other problems also. Okay, never skip a breakfast. A good breakfast is, it's just going to keep you alive whole day. And alive just doesn't mean alive, it means joyful also. The third part is always have juice or fruit in breakfast, because that will give you your take for whole day in terms of sugar. Right, it will break down in a longer period of time, and it will keep you giving energy for your whole day. Now fourth point is that you need to avoid sugar which is the processed one in your breakfast and whole day as much as possible. Right, the processed sugar, it will give you instant rise and fall in your energy, so that is needed to be avoided. Okay, supplements are not alternative of healthy diet. For example, at times people take supplements, who the gym goers, they take supplements, but I will press upon this point that supplements are not alternative of your healthy diet. The last point is that excess of sugar is bad, but do not cut out sugar from your food totally, because yes, you need certain amount of sugar to remain healthy and cheerful. Otherwise you will start feeling different uh, kind of ailments and pain in your body, because your body will be uh, carving, you know for the habit of sugar which is already having. Right, so do not cut out sugar from your diet, just do not take it in excess. Right, these were the points which I wanted to convey to all of you, so that you can understand what part of diet is why important. Right, you know what part, you need to understand why that is important. Now you know both the things, then you can create your own chart, you can understand your own body, what is required by your body, and then you can provide it as the same, and you can avoid being unhealthy. Thank you.